Good morning. We've got Jackie. How's it going? We've got Kevin. Good morning, everyone. How's it going? Erica.
Hey, Via.
Justin, what's up?
Good. Hi, Via. Long time.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Nice to see you.
You too. It has been a while.
Yeah. Well, great. Well, I know that we are live and we're live on Facebook, and we'll have a lot of others that will be watching this as the future comes. So, hey, thank you so much, everyone, for jumping in. Wanted to introduce Via. So I know there may only be one of you that doesn't know Via, but she has been a top coach and grown one of the top brokerages in the country, Ben Kinney. And so, Via, thank you so much for jumping in here. Could you share a little bit about yourself and then our content today, how to skyrocket your production in 30 days? Thank you, Via.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, it's so good to be here again. It's been a while, Tom. I don't remember the last time we did this, but it's been a little bit of time.
Yeah,
But
I think last year you shared team building
that's
and
true.
how to build a team, which was
Yeah.
extremely valuable. Thank you.
Oh, thanks. Well, I'm in Seattle, Washington, so I don't know if we have any Northwesterners here. And I'm the head of industry for Place. And yeah, Tom, previous to this, I ran and grew Ben Kinney's brokerages significantly. We went from about 1,200 agents to almost 1,800 agents. So I've been really a professional recruiter since 2018, is another way of saying it. And I coach and consult and talk to really the top teams around the country. So in the last year, I've looked at 40 to 50 P&Ls of top teams. I've talked to teams almost daily. So I have a really cool aerial view from my vantage point on everything real estate teams. So I do some coaching as well. It's been an eye-opening perspective to talk to big teams, small teams, medium teams from all different brokerages. I think there's not a model I don't know when it comes to teams. I think I've heard it all. So anyway, yeah, that's a good enough background. Enough about me. So
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. And you can speak on so many different subjects. I was like, oh my gosh, Via's willing to share. And so I was going through all of your YouTubes, all of your videos, and I would just get sucked in, and then 30 minutes later, oh yeah, I need to move on to this one. So thank you so much. And I thought what would be really appropriate right now? Hey, it's mid-year, right? I mean, almost,
Mhm.
let's call it mid-year. Are you on goal? Are you off goal? What do we need to do? There's so much noise out there going on in our industry and our world, but what can we really focus on to skyrocket our production for the next 30 years? So, Via, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, and it's not the most exciting and sexy topic because who here loves to prospect? Oh,
Woohoo!
stop raising your hands, everybody. Please, please. It's too much. It's too much. No, I know. Let me share my screen right now because but I'm gonna hopefully sell you guys a little bit on prospecting here. Give me a second. Because we need to choose our hard, don't we? And I don't know about you guys, but over the last year and a half, it has not been fun for everybody. It's been not as much income, not as many houses to sell. Am I the only one? Are the teams I talk to the only ones? Hopefully everybody here relates to that. And so, I want to remind us all that whether we like prospecting or not, it's kind of like working out. We love the results, right? We may not love it during, but we love the results. And if you're feeling any type of stress, whether that's financial, whether it's just performance or production oriented, I want to remind you that the best way to combat stress is to get into activity and to get into action, right? And I find that if we don't know exactly what to do, it's hard to do that. Like we can kind of go, all right, I got a prospect. Like I'm going to sit here at my desk and everything's set and I got my coffee here and whatever. And we kind of sit there. You ever do that? And you're like, now what? What do I do? What do I do now? So the first thing I want to talk about is facing our fears. And the reason I want to talk about facing our fears is that I have found that any type of call reluctance is based on not knowing who to call or not knowing what to say. Okay, so it's either we don't know who to call, we don't know what to say. So that's a really good thing to write down and gut check yourself with. When you're sitting down or you're thinking about a prospecting power hour, and think about, okay, do I know who I'm going to call? Do I know what I'm going to say? And just be sure that you're super clear. Like, for instance, if you decide, okay, I'm going to call my database, right? And then you can think of what's your favorite database script. My favorite database script is, hey, Justin, it's Via. It's been a while. I loved being on your podcast. That you let me talk about my favorite topic, which not a lot of people want to talk about this, which I like this too, but that was really fun and that was great. Justin, how are you? How are the wife and your, I think 4 kids, if I recall? Was it 4 or 5?
6 kids. Apparently, we've been busy since I told you it's been a while.
You've been busy.
Family's
I love
great.
it.
Thank you for asking.
Well, Justin, I'm curious, do you have any real estate related plans this year?
We love our house. We've talked about adding like an Airbnb property so that we can travel to some of the places that we want to travel to on a business expense as opposed to a personal expense.
We just did that, and we sold out the summer in 6 days. So we're just really happy about that purchase. Where would you maybe do one?
We've talked about maybe Central Oregon.
Oh.
We love it over there. It's a little drier than here in the Willamette Valley. So,
one of my favorite agents is there. Do you have an agent in Bend yet?
We do actually, just recently.
Cool.
But I'd be open to conversation. So
I'd love to introduce you to her. She's great. And side note, I get a referral fee. But I wouldn't say that. I'm just helping you guys. So the thing about it is that, the great thing about being in Tom's organization and his network is even on this Zoom alone, like you guys probably are taking it for granted, but agents all over the country. So, you probably know an agent where someone else is looking at a second home. So that's my favorite script. Do you have any real estate related plans for the year? Okay.
Super good.
So the benefit of prospecting is it allows you to take your business and put it in your own hands, right? It gives you control, because at the end of the day, it's just a math equation. It's just math. IJM. I would write that down if you're taking notes. This is not personal. This is not about you. We kind of have to silo that fear of rejection, anything that's stopping us and making us reluctant to get on the phone. It's just math equations. That's really how I get through it. It's just going to be X amount of calls to X amount of appointments set to X amount of appointments met. These are just ratios. That's it, right? It has nothing to do with you when they reject you, and they're not rejecting you actually. Okay. So the prospecting mindset, did you guys know that, and maybe this will surprise you, maybe it's 9 out of 10 people on this Zoom right now have a call reluctance. Does that surprise any of you? Justin, you're the only one that's going to talk to me today, I think. Oh, no, Jackie, I saw you shake your head no.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Everybody's got call reluctance except Tom Daves.
Well, 90% of us I have call reluctance for, at certain points. I mean, I battle through it because it's like working out. I like the result of it. Right. And I don't like prospecting any more than anyone, but every time I do it, it works. So I know that it's the one thing I can do to control my outcome and my income. And when I get that paycheck and when I get that commission check, right, I look back and I'm super grateful what I did 60, 90 days ago, the same with you. So why don't we prospect? Well, we're afraid of rejection. Like I just said, we don't know who to call. We don't know what to say. Those are the really, really two big ones. We don't protect our calendar. We want that one deal that we're working on to take 40 hours a week, and especially from 9 to 10 or 10 to 11 every morning. It's weird how everything seems to happen during that 1 power hour, right? We aren't connecting with our goals. And, when we say committed to our goals, we have to sometimes manufacture pain so that we can attach to those goals, right? If we're comfortable, if we're not feeling as much pain, we're probably not going to be as apt to prospect that day, right? So here are some focusing questions that can help you get in the mindset of being of service to people. So when I did that role play with Justin just now, I had to get out of my head and get into this mindset of, hey, if I found out Justin had any real estate activity without me, I would actually be really sad for Justin that he didn't get to work with one of the best agents that I know, me, because I trust myself. You all trust yourself. You all think you should. I hope you do think you're the best agent there is. So when we're walking into prospecting, really be other focused, be focused on how we can be of service to them, how we can be of value to them. How does my personal style and brand connect with Justin? Well, he said Airbnb, he said short-term rental, and I've just had tremendous success with that for the first time for the same reasons that Justin said. We thought, well, how can we start buying real estate that we want to use in a way that makes it worth it? Short-term rental. So I connected with him on that. How are you different from other agents in your market? Do you know your value proposition? Gosh, I'm assuming you guys have had a lot of speakers talk about that, because lately with the NAR settlements, we've all been really focused on our value proposition. So my question would be, are you working on enunciating that? And I'm sure you are. I'm sure Tom's had many great people on here for that, but I want to encourage you to keep working on that and to learn your elevator speech. Like, what makes me different as a buyer's agent? What makes me a value as a listing agent? And I could tell you like really, really fast, right? What do you like about working with buyers and sellers? Just start thinking about that. Like, oh, I really like that part. I really like that part. And that can get you excited to pick up the phone because you want more of that. You want more of number 4. You want more of what you like with buyers or sellers. Ask yourself, really, what is blocking me? What am I using as an excuse, or what's a legitimate excuse? And maybe you can move that power hour around, right? What is a same thing, what's keeping you from blocking this time, right? Sometimes it's up here that's keeping you, in that you are unable to block yourself and silo yourself from fires that are happening for 1 hour of your day. And if that's the case, then ask yourself, can you turn off all of your notifications, and can you make it happen so that you're not getting squirreled and you're not getting distracted with all of those fires that we all know good and well you can put out in an hour, right? We all know in real estate, no one's dying on an operating table here with what we're doing, right? All right. If we're relying on incoming leads, my challenge to you would be, how can you control that? You can't. You can't. I mean, you could pay all the money in the world, but you're still not controlling the flow of leads that are coming in necessarily, right? Prospecting, calling out is really the only thing you control in your own time, if you think about it, right? So look at that. Look at agent referrals. If you're relying on agent referrals, my challenge with that is it's not a predictable, sustainable business. You can't rely on agents calling you or texting you or emailing you or messaging you to give you referrals, because you're not them. Prospecting to those agents might be a way that you can control it, though, right? What are the negative voices that you can get rid of, and what are your personal excuses? And lastly, but very importantly, who's holding you accountable to that power hour? And you notice I say power hour. Don't overreach this. 1 hour a day is plenty for true outbounding. I would say that for those of you go-getters on here who are pretty good at the 2 to 3 hours, what I like to do is it's actually 45 to 50 minutes of outbounding. Then the next hour is follow-up. So I live in follow-up, right? And then if I'm going to do a third hour, it's going to be follow-up, right? Almost all of my lead gen is follow-up, but I always start with a stint of outbounding. It's not very long. I do think that we can get a little overly ambitious and be like, I'm going to do 3 hours of cold calling. And by the way, great. If you can do that, do it. But don't overreach. This is just 1 power hour a day. That's it. That's it. The rest you can live in follow-up. Any questions or comments so far?
Yeah, Via, would you show the previous slide again really quickly?
I was going to, but for some reason I didn't have mouse control there. This one?
That's it. Yep. I just wanted to screenshot that real quick. Super
One
good.
other thing, can you go to slide 2? I want to screen share that one too.
That one? No.
There you go, that one. Okay, thank you.
That one? Which one? Okay.
The one with the pie chart.
There you go.
Perfect. Okay, that's great.
Make it big again.
Well, the one thing that you mentioned is how we can be of service. I mean, we need to keep that mindset. In fact, Don Yoakum mentioned that to me the other day. How can we serve? We have an amazing opportunity, and we're helping. Oh my gosh. So that was amazing. How can we be of service?
Yeah, just to add to that a little bit, those of you who are every one of us here on this call, has different behavioral styles. And, I'm sure you all know the DISC, right? DISC. My comment is if you're not a D, if you're on this call and you're maybe more of an I, an S, or a C, when I coach my ISs and Cs who have a little bit of a harder time with aggressiveness and asking for business, I really have them focus a lot on how they can be of service to others. And there's a conviction that comes from that will help you close. So if you're kind of on this call and you don't want to admit to everybody like I'm maybe not the most aggressive person or whatever, put yourself in this position where you care about the other person so much that you're the best person to protect their interests and to represent them in the sale. And I find that helps you close. I find that helps you do it. There's a lot of really aggressive people teaching real estate and training real estate. Like I'm really aggressive. It's not hard for me to close. And I recognize the fact that that's not a universal thing, and most 70% of the population is actually not wired that way. So you can kind of still be a really good closer and close with acts of service, right? Close with a servant's heart, and I think that works really well.
One real quick thing about that is awesome. And one of the things when we can do with our follow-up is a lot of times if they say, well, gee, you just spoke with me last month. Okay, great. I just didn't want to drop the ball on my end. And then also, I didn't want you to have a weak moment and get in the hands of a weak agent.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, wait, I found my mouse is doing weird things. Sorry. That is weird. We have to go out of this again. My mouse is like disappearing when I'm going in presentation mode, which is really well. Okay. Briefly, we won't spend a ton of time on this, but you notice how I went into a role play with Justin just now? I just, and I'm sure you guys all do this, but I just want to reinforce just having role plays with colleagues, even a spouse, whatever, to say, hey, can I just run through some of this? It just makes it so much more natural, right? It's one thing to read a script, but it takes you a while to get natural. And I would just encourage you to practice on role play rather than practicing on real prospects. That said, don't let it stop you. Don't let it stop you. If you don't have anybody to practice, first of all, you can practice in front of a mirror, or you can practice just on a fake phone call. But secondly, make the calls anyway. I can tell you right now, saying the right thing to the right person at the right time trumps any and all talent. Right? Here's my best example. And this is, to me, this is our life in real estate, this example. And you might have heard it before. I've shared it before. Other people have shared it before. To me, it's the best example in real estate. Ladies, when we walk into a clothing store and we want a pair of high-rise, wide-leg blue jeans, and we know exactly what we want, and we walk in and the nice gal greets us and she says, can I help you? What do we freaking say? Somebody unmute and tell me what we say, which is weird.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm just looking.
Why? But that's what we say. That's what we say. Because we're going to find those wide legs on our own for some weird reason, right? So we start shopping and we get our armful of wide legs. And by the way, now there's dresses on there and there's the whole deal, right? There's shirts, there's all sorts of cute things, right? So then now we're in the back of the store and we're next to the dressing room. Are we looking for that person who asked how we were, who we might have liked, we might have clicked with, or are we looking for the person with a wristband around their wrist with a key to the dressing room? Who are we looking for?
Someone with the key to the dressing room.
We are looking for the person with the key, Jackie. That's exactly who we're looking for. Now, that nice person who greeted us, we might have clicked with them more. In fact, we might have almost wished that they were there. But the fact is, at a given time in our time crunch states, we are going to look at and catch the eye of the first person we see with the key who's going to open the door for us. I'm going to pause. Does this resonate with anybody? This is real estate. This is our lives. This is our business, right? If we are the person that's there with the key, they will use us. So why do prospectors win? Because you call 100 people and one or two of them is going to just be looking for that person to let them in. right? That's really what prospecting is. It's not rejection. All this is fishing in a big pond and looking for the person that's looking for you with the key, right? This isn't about talent. It's about just being there. That person that has the key to the dressing room, I don't care how talented they are. I just want them to let me in. And especially if I'm in a hurry, if they're standing right there and they're like, hey, I can ring you up right here, I will buy my clothes with them. I will bypass that wonderful, nice person who I really liked when I walked in the store to buy my clothes and walk out of there quickly with the person in front of me. Yes? Okay. That is why we prospect. So scripts and role play help, but they are not the only thing. Don't let this stop you from doing that. Okay. So the reason prospecting works well is that we can cause action to happen now, right? We're not waiting for something to happen. We're not sitting around saying, oh, my business is good, my business is not good. We are creating the business, right? It is probably the highest dollar per hour activity that we have. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. It is probably the highest per dollar activity that we have, right? Hold on, let me populate these for you guys. Sorry about that. The other thing is all the other agents aren't doing it enough. So again, even if you guys made 1 or 2 outbound calls a day, and I don't want to give you excuses to slack, but even if you just say, look, just every day I win the day, if I do 1 or 2 outbound calls, that is still winning over 90% of all other agents, 95% of all other agents, right? It's the easiest way to find sellers. And ladies and gentlemen, do we all want sellers right now? Say yes. We all want sellers right now. It's the easiest way is to get on the phone. And if we know the person, it's, hey, just curious, even if it's a cold internet lead. Hey, cold internet lead, it's great talking to you. I'm going to set you up on a listing alert and a home search. Hey, I'm curious, Tom, do you know anyone else that has any real estate related plans right now? Yeah, my neighbor wants to sell. Oh, that's great. I would love that. Would you mind introducing me to them and sending a 3-way text? I'd love to call them right now. I'm actively working with buyers in that neighborhood. So we always want to get, that's why I like role play, because it does help you get fresh, and that script just like falls off of me now, right?
And did you hear the 3-way text little hack?
Always 3-way text, always. Yeah. Oh, always good. Always 3-way text. I want you just to look at number 5 per our conversation. You don't have to be really good at prospecting. This is time on task on time on task on time. If you go fishing a certain amount of time, a certain amount of days, you are going to catch a fish. You just are going to catch a fish, right? And this isn't talent. This is just being at the right place in the right time. And you're going to actively put yourself in the right place in the right time. If you do it over and over again, side note, you will get good. You will get good. You may not be good to start with. You might feel super awkward about it, but you will get good. I don't know if you guys have ever gotten cold calls from telemarketers, and you can clearly tell they're reading a script, but they're earnest and you can tell they're trying hard. Has anyone here ever stayed on the phone with them? Just like, you kind of can tell, and sometimes it even works. Sometimes I've bought products. They don't have to be good. They just have to say the right thing to me at the time I need it. And they didn't know that, right? 99 of the other people they called hung up on them, but they just caught me in that one time. I'm like, oh, like we literally need new windows right now. You say you're selling windows at a discount. I'll listen to your script. It may not be very good, right? So, okay. We talked about you need to know who to call. You need to know what to say. So really, really briefly, I'm going to skim through this in the spirit of time. This is a longer presentation. Who should we prospect? So I would just say, write each of these down. And then after this call, really start thinking about, okay, how am I going to source these? Which one of these resonates with me? Which one of these should I bone up on and get more skilled at, right? The first one is circle prospecting. So anyone in the room here, anyone on our Zoom right now, who is getting and taking listings. Listings are extraordinarily valuable assets right now. I mean, there's just not that many of them, right? So do not forget the one type of cold calling you will see me do is circle prospecting. I have done it for years because I like it, because I find that neighbors are very curious about what's happening. So I like 2 types of circle prospecting. I like the, hey, I just listed, or for those of you who can do coming soon, we can't do them in Washington State, but some of you guys can. For those of you doing, hey, I just want to let you know, I'm bringing on a listing on your street, or I'm bringing on a listing in your neighborhood. and wanted to tell you about it and see if you had any real estate related plans, because we are in the type of market that I anticipate we're going to have a massive amount of incoming leads and incoming open houses. And so I wanted to call the neighbors to find out if there would be a time or a way that you might want to sell your house. So, what your plans are. No, not at all. What house are you selling? I'm selling the Smith's house at 12345 State Street, and we're going to list it at $875. Oh, wow. That's interesting. That sounds really low. I think my house is worth more. Well, let me ask you, if it made financial sense, would you consider an offer on your house for $950? Or, whatever it's going to be, would you consider an off-market sale potentially? Yeah, for $950, I would. Okay. All right, great. Then here's what I'd love to do. I'd love to come and take a walk through your house before I come do the open house, so that I know what it looks like. And so I can kind of, do that accordingly. And I'd love to do a pricing analysis on it. Could I come by in the next few days and just do a quick walkthrough? It doesn't have to be clean or tidy. And that way I can do a really good pricing analysis for you. And we can both keep that in the back of our head. And thus starts the relationship, right? Now, what am I going to do on my CRM? I use Brivity. You guys use whatever you use. Now, what am I going to do? Circle prospecting is going to lead to, I think it's my next one. Hold on. I'll send you some of these scripts. I'm skimming because of time. Sorry. Reverse prospecting.
Wait, can you go back to that script?
I'll send it to you.
Sorry.
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you, Tom. Yeah.
Thank you.
Because circle prospecting leads to reverse prospecting. So now here's what's going to happen. Everyone that comes into the open houses, all of the leads that call in for this listing I have coming up, that's great. We can use them for that house. But the other thing is we can get on our CRM. Again, I'm on Brivity, and I can reverse prospect. Who is looking for houses between 800 and $1 million in this zip code or in this area? And now I have an off-market house that I can prospect to. So now the next day, who are my phone calls going to be? The 27 people on my CRM that are searching in that area, I can call and I can say, what a pretty name. Is it Treva? Treva?
Oh, Treva.
Treva. Oh, so pretty. I love that name. I'd love to know the origin of that. With someone with a name like Vija, I like unusual names. So I like that a lot. So Treva, I could say, hey, Treva, this is Vija Williams. I know you've been on our website for a couple of years looking at homes. I'm curious, did you ever end up buying?
I haven't yet, but we're still looking.
You're still looking. Okay. Well, wanted to let you know, I've got a listing coming up. It's not on the MLS yet. It's going to be active later today for $875, and it's 3-bedroom, 2-bath, blah, 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 blah. This is a description of the house. Does that sound like something you might be interested in?
Yeah. I mean, depending on, the floor plan and all, I'd have to see it, but yeah.
What's the most important kind of aspect of a house for you? Why do you think you haven't bitten the bullet and gotten one in the last few years? What are you looking for the most?
Well, we were trying with rates when they were good. And then now it's just been concerning. I'm concerned about the market.
Oh, did you get outbid? Did you try to get some and got outbid? Yeah.
Yeah. When they were low.
So off-market sales are wonderful because there's no bidding wars in an off-market sale. I have another off-market in the neighborhood that's 4 bedrooms and 3 baths for about $950, but it's a corner lot and has a huge yard. I'm going to go preview that later today. Would that potentially be something of interest?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. Well, I often have off-market listings. I'm curious, Treva, are you going to be financing this purchase? Is this going to be cash? How are you going to be?
It is. It's going to be financed.
It's going to be financed. Great. I'll tell you what, if it works for you, could I put you in contact with Jennifer Rogers at Envoy Mortgage? She's our top lender. She's excellent. Could I put her in touch with you today? And maybe you could run the numbers, because I'd love to bring you to these off-market homes before we list.
Yeah, I am really interested in the off-market. And I probably need an update, because that is my concern of how these rates are going to affect my payment.
Well, I would love you to talk with Jennifer because the commitment I made to this off-market seller is that anybody I brought through would be pre-approved with my lender. And so all you have to do is have a quick phone call with her today, and she'll just ask you some basic questions. Plus, I think it'll really help you to sort of run those numbers again and kind of see where you stand. But if we can get you an off-market sale, oh my goodness, how exciting. I'll tell you what, Treva. Why don't we, if it works for you, I'll do a 3-way text with Jennifer Rogers today. Maybe what we could do is set an appointment and let's just do a buyer consult tomorrow and talk about what you're looking for and really drill down on that. And we can end that with a tour of both of these houses. How does that sound?
That sounds good, because that's kind of what's held me back, is I just don't have that information dialed in. So I do need some help in that way.
Oh, I would love that so much. I'm so glad I got a hold of you today. Oh, I'm so excited, Treva. Okay, I'm going to do that. And then I would go in and, whatever, right? So that's where reverse prospect, all of this ties together, right? And was I braver on this call because I had done that first outbounding call to that off-market house? Yes, I was. I was braver. I am now calling. Reverse prospecting is really a gift because you're calling with a purpose. You have something of value that you can service them with. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So these don't exist on their own on an island, right? None of this prospecting is on its own, because now what am I going to do? Tom, I'm going to give this to you, because he's going to say, wait, stop. I want to take a picture. I'm going to send all this to you guys. Okay. This is all from our place. Power Up deck. So this is all play stuff. I'll send it to you guys. Because now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be really brave. I don't usually call canceled and expireds, but I'm going to be really brave. And I'm going to call all the canceled and expireds in that neighborhood. And I'm going to say, hey, just wanted to let you know, I'm bringing a listing on the market for $875. I've got one off-market seller for $950, but I have 3 people that are in our database alone that I am talking to who are actively telling me they would purchase a home right now off market. So I just wanted to find out, are you still interested in selling your home if it makes sense to you off market? I know that you expired 6 months ago. I know you expired 3 months ago. Could I come do a walkthrough of your home and potentially matchmake you with a buyer? And whatever, there's a whole bunch of scripts. I'm going to send you the scripts. And for the sake of time, because I know we're out of time, I'm going to skip this, but I just want you guys to see how it all goes together, right? But the linchpin, the origination of this was I leveraged a listing that I had come up, and I started on a circle prospecting script, right? So that power hour, right, was really that circle prospecting time. The other 1 or 2 hours after that goes into reverse prospecting, goes into cancel expires, and then it goes into FSBOs in that neighborhood. Same thing. Hey, I know that you're for sale by owner. I'm anticipating I'm going to have a lot of buyers in this upcoming listing. Could I come preview and I can try to help you sell it? Are you paying a buyer's agent commission? And then, of course, we flip into our FSBO track plans, right, where we try to convert those. So I know we're out of time, right? Because it's 9:36 already. I think if there's anything you got out of this, it's pushing yourself on that first activity. And then don't just blindly go call expired. First of all, if you're one of those people, go blindly call expireds and canceled all you want. That's great. If you're like me and you have some reluctance and you don't love doing this, if you can call with a purpose and you can do the reverse prospecting with a purpose, it's way better that way. You have a courage of your convictions, and it's easier to pick up the phone and do it, because now you're kind of matchmaking and you've got something they want. Does that make sense?
This is awesome. Okay. So Vija, if someone wants to reach out and get a hold of you, what's the best way?
Vija@place.com, and Vija is Vija. So yeah.
Well, awesome. And Vija, if you don't mind, if you could please send these slides so we can share, we'll put them on our Atomic Habits Facebook page. So again, Vija, thank you so much. Now, y'all got your inspiration. Time to put in a perspiration. Thank you so much, Vija. Thanks, y'all, for being here. And we've got a big meeting next Wednesday, so don't miss it. Thanks, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Vija. Bye now.